My fiancé ghosted me a week before the wedding. No calls, no explanation. So I sold the ring and canceled everything. Then she showed up crying at my job. That text came in like a punch to the gut. I remember staring at my phone, hoping it was a joke. But there it was. No calls, no goodbyes, just silence. We were supposed to get married in 6 days. Venues booked, flowers paid for, my family flying in from 3 different states. And she vanished. Gone. I tried calling, texting, even went to her apartment. Nothing. Her friends didn't know anything. Her family suddenly couldn't get in touch. It felt like the world was playing a cruel joke on me. For 3 days, I was in shock. Then I looked at the ring, the one I spent 6 months saving for. I took it out of its box, stared at it under the light, and whispered to myself, "Screw this." I sold the ring the next morning. I called the vendors, canceled everything, told the guests not to bother. If she didn't want me, I sure as hell didn't need to keep a seat open for her. And just when I thought it was over, she walked into my job, crying. Everyone used to say we were relationship goals. Our Instagram was full of sunsets, fancy brunches, and cutesy couple captions that made people swoon. Behind the scenes, we had built what I thought was a rock-solid relationship. We were planning a future, picked out the venue together, chose the menu, even argued, lovingly, over cake flavors. I met her parents, she met mine. Our families clicked. We created Pinterest boards, argued about whether to get a live band or a DJ, typical wedding stuff. She'd send me good morning texts every day. She told me I was her safe space, her forever, and I believed every word. I used to catch her looking at me with this soft smile, like I was everything she wanted in life. That look was my reassurance. I'd even screenshot our texts sometimes, the cute ones, just to read later when I missed her. To me, she was perfect. To everyone else, we were perfect. But sometimes, the most flawless portraits hide the deepest cracks. And I was too blinded by the picture to notice that it was starting to peel around the edges. My fiancé ghosted me a week before the wedding. No calls, no explanation. So I sold the ring and canceled everything. Then she showed up crying at my job. One day we were finalizing the flower arrangements. The next, silence. It started with a single ignored text. I didn't overthink it at first. Maybe she was busy. Maybe something came up. But hours turned into a full day. Then another. My calls went straight to voicemail. My texts showed delivered, but never read. Panic slowly turned into confusion, then dread. I checked with her friends. None had seen her. I called her sister. No idea. I even reached out to her workplace and was told she had taken personal leave. Just like that, she disappeared. Ghosted. With no warning and no reason. The worst part? Our wedding was just a week away. Family had booked flights. The venue was ready. Thousands of dollars in deposits, plans, dreams, all hanging in limbo. I wasn't just embarrassed. I was crushed. I sat alone in the apartment, staring at the tux hanging by the door, wondering what the hell went wrong. Did she get cold feet? Was she scared? Or was there someone else? But deep down, something told me, this wasn't just hesitation. This was betrayal. She stood there in front of my office building like a rain-soaked memory I wanted to forget. My fiancé, no ex-fiancé, looking like life had chewed her up and spit her back out. I didn't move. I didn't say a word. The same woman who vanished a week before our wedding without so much as a phone call now stood crying, clutching a crumpled letter and a ring box. My ring box. When she begged me to hear her out, I reluctantly agreed to meet after work. Part curiosity, part closure. That's when she unraveled. She claimed she had a panic attack, that the pressure got to her. But my gut screamed lie. So I started digging. Within hours, I found it, an Instagram story she thought she deleted fast enough, tagged in a resort spa by one of her friends. The date? 2 days before our wedding. The location? A beach in Mexico. with a man I didn't recognize. I kept digging, comments, old posts, private messages she forgot to delete from a shared account we once used. And there it was, months of flirty texts and hotel confirmations with her coworker. Not a panic attack. A calculated escape. She didn't ghost me because she was scared, she ghosted me because she was already gone. When the pain settled, it left behind a cold, calculated stillness. I stared at the now useless wedding plans. Every detail we once gushed over now mocked me. From color swatches to floral arrangements, all meaningless. But rather than wallow, something in me shifted, like a switch flipped. The sorrow was real, but so was the anger. I thought about the hours I spent planning, paying, sacrificing, and how she ghosted me without a shred of explanation. I deleted our shared Pinterest board and sold the engagement ring without a second thought. I called the vendors and canceled every single booking. And when they asked, "What happened?" I said flatly, "The bride vanished." No dramatic tears, just ice. I even called the hotel she was supposed to stay at that week. Nothing. That's when I decided I wouldn't chase her. No more texts. No more waiting. If she wanted out, I'd give her the exit she didn't have the courage to take. Complete silence. My heartbreak had turned into resolve. I wasn't going to let her ghosting define me. Instead, I was going to turn this pain into purpose. Let her deal with the wreckage of her own choices. I was already building a new life. As I continued canceling every aspect of the wedding, the consequences started rolling in like a tidal wave. Vendors called to confirm the refunds, some apologetically, others businesslike. I didn't flinch. Each refund felt like reclaiming a part of myself she tried to erase. But then came the messages from her family. Her sister called first, furious. "How could you cancel without telling us? People have booked flights." I stayed calm and replied. She disappeared. "You tell me what else I was supposed to do." That's when her mother called, crying, not out of sympathy, but humiliation. "What will we tell our church? What will the neighbors think?" I wanted to scream, "What about what I feel?" But I didn't. I just said, "Ask your daughter." Her father was the only one who called with a hint of decency. "Son, is it true? She really left without a word." I told him everything. He went quiet. "I'm sorry, son. That's not the woman we raised." The dominoes had begun to fall, and none of them were crashing down on me. They were finally realizing she wasn't the victim in this story. She was the storm. And I was just the one who had finally decided to step out of the rain. My fiancée ghosted me a week before the wedding. No calls, no explanation. So I sold the ring and canceled everything. Then she showed up crying at my job, with mascara-streaked cheeks, clutching a bouquet of wilting flowers like they could somehow erase the pain she'd left behind. She barged into the lobby like a scene out of a rom-com, except this wasn't a reunion, it was an ambush. My co-workers froze, eyes wide as the woman who'd vanished without a word now stood in front of me, begging for just 5 minutes. I didn't flinch. I stood there, calm, collected, ice behind my eyes. She stammered apologies in front of everyone. "It was a mistake," I panicked. "I didn't mean to hurt you." She claimed her therapist had told her to take space, that the pressure got to her, that she didn't know how to process it all. I just nodded, coldly. I remembered every night I stared at my phone, hoping it would buzz. Every moment I sat in front of our canceled guest list, deleting names. She expected tears. She expected forgiveness. But what she got was a professional smile and 5 words, "This is not the time." She didn't expect the new woman waiting in my office either. My fiancé ghosted me a week before the wedding. No calls, no explanation. So I sold the ring and canceled everything. Then she showed up crying at my job, and when I didn't react the way she expected, everything inside her snapped. She followed me down the hallway, ignoring the stares and murmurs from my co-workers. "You're seriously just going to walk away?" she yelled, her voice rising with each step. I turned around slowly, calmly. "You already walked away first. I'm just matching your energy." That broke her. She started screaming, about how she was scared, how I didn't fight for her, how I moved on too fast. She pointed at the woman standing beside me, my new colleague, and assumed she was my girlfriend. "Oh, so this is why you're done with me," she shrieked. By now, phones were out. People recording. My boss stepped out of his office, eyebrows raised. But I didn't stop her. I let her unravel, every bit of her drama on full public display. Her meltdown was complete, wailing, accusing, trying to claw back control in front of an audience that had already judged her. It was messy. It was humiliating. But it wasn't my mess anymore. It was hers. The moment her breakdown went viral, I realized karma had finally gone digital. The clip of her showing up at my job in full meltdown mode, sobbing, screaming, and clutching a bouquet of wilted roses, was captured by a coworker and posted online. I hadn't even known until someone sent me the link. There she was, mascara running down her cheeks, shouting, "Just talk to me, please," while I stood inside behind the glass doors, arms crossed, unmoved. The video hit Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit like wildfire. The internet didn't show mercy. Comments flooded in. Most people assumed I was the betrayed party, which, to be fair, I was. "She ghosted him and now wants him back?" Well, one read. "Queen behavior by the guy just sipping his coffee inside," another said. Her story, the one where she was the innocent fiancée, quickly crumbled. People dug into her socials. Screenshots of her vacation while I was devastated at home started surfacing, and her sympathy tour failed before it even began. Even her close friends started distancing themselves. Some unfollowed her, while others posted vague but pointed tweets like, "You don't get to break someone and act like you're the victim." Watching the world see her truth unfold was the closure I didn't know I needed. She sent a long message at 2:13 a.m., one of those dramatic, rambling texts where guilt bleeds through every line. It started with, "I know I hurt you, and I probably don't deserve this chance, but please just read this." I didn't reply. Not out of anger, but because I no longer felt the need to. She talked about how lost she felt without me, how she regretted everything, how her parents found out, how her friends turned cold. She said she'd been in therapy, that she finally understood what she threw away. I read the whole thing twice. Once with anger, and once with clarity. And the only thing I could think was, why now? Why after everything's burned to the ground? Her apology wasn't for me, it was for her own guilt. I didn't block her. I didn't reply. I left the message on read. Because that's what closure looked like now, not a dramatic confrontation, not screaming or revenge. Just silence, peace, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing I'd healed beyond the reach of her words. It was just after midnight when my phone buzzed. I hadn't heard from her in weeks. Not since her breakdown at my job, not since the rumors started flying online, not since her parents had to publicly distance themselves from her antics. The notification lit up my darkroom. "I'm so sorry. Please read this." It was a wall of text. Rambling, emotional, and full of contradictions. She apologized for ghosting me before the wedding, saying she panicked. That she didn't know how to handle commitment. That her freedom was actually just a cover for fear. She claimed her boss had manipulated her, that it wasn't real love. She missed me. Missed us. Wanted another chance. She even attached a voice note, softly crying in the background as she begged me to forgive her. I sat in silence for a while. I could have responded. I could have unloaded all the anger, all the pain she left me with. But instead, I wrote exactly 4 words, "I wish you well." Then I blocked her again. Because closure isn't always dramatic. Sometimes, it's just a quiet decision to never let someone who broke you have access to you again. And that silence. That was my final, most powerful revenge.